A woman named Kay learns that her elderly demented mother has gone missing from home. Kay, along with her adult daughter, arrives at the old woman's place and suspects that she might not be alive. However, the woman's bed is empty, as if she simply left the house. In their last conversation, the missing mother mentioned that an unknown person had intruded into her home multiple times, frightening her. Kay is yet to realize the horrors that the old house holds. Adult daughter is named Sam. In the evening, she explores her grandmother Edna's mysterious house. Sam examines old belongings and enters the cellar. There, she notices a strange movement in the closet. Sam pushes aside some clothes and sees black mold creeping along the wall. Sam starts feeling uneasy. Kay has already gone to the police station and confessed to the officer that she rarely contacted her missing mother Edna and hardly ever visited her. In the evening, Kay returns to Edna's house and asks Sam about her job. It turns out that Sam dropped out of college a long time ago and now works in a bar with her daughter's decision, but can't influence her much since she has been minimally involved in Sam's life. The mother simply thanks Sam for coming to support her. The next day, a search team goes into the nearby forest to look for the missing Edna. Edna is over 80 years old, and she has memory lapses. Theoretically, Edna could have gone into the forest and gotten lost. However, the forest search yields no results so far. In the evening, Sam sits on the porch and sees someone approaching the house with a flashlight, but it's not Edna. It's a neighbor with peculiarities named Jamie. Jamie used to visit Edna occasionally, but he stopped coming lately because of a strange smell in Edna's house. However, it seems like Jamie is not telling the whole truth. There's something more frightening in the house than just that. Sam notices that almost every door in the house has a new lock. Kay knows that Edna was afraid of someone and wanted to protect herself. Sam is horrified by this news. She doesn't understand why her mother didn't report it to the police earlier and didn't come to Edna sooner. Kay had chalked everything up to Edna's elderly forgetfulness, but now she realizes she was wrong. Sam feels deep sorrow for her grandmother, who may be in trouble. She loves her and regrets not visiting more often. Going into Edna's room, Sam puts on her sweater and finds a note in the pocket. Don't follow it. Immediately, a strange knocking sound echoes through the house. Kay hears it too. It's as if someone is walking behind the walls inside the house trying to get out. The wall is covered in black mold, and the women feel an ominous foreboding. Kay walks through the forest and stumbles upon an old abandoned house. On the bed sits a frail old man, and next to him on the floor lies a mummy in a terrible state. Covered in black mold, the old man on the bed sways and falls. Kay wakes up in horror, realizing it was just a terrible dream. Frightened, she goes to sleep with her daughter. All night long, creaking sounds fill the house. And then someone approaches Kay and adjusts her hair. In the morning, Kay is not herself. She hears a boiling kettle in the kitchen, goes there, and sees her mother, Edna, acting as if nothing happened. Edna is making tea. Edna is barefoot, smeared with something black, and doesn't say where she has been for the past few days. It's clear she's not quite herself. Kay calls a doctor to examine Edna. The old woman insists she's fine and tries to prove it. The doctor is concerned only about a bruise on Edna's chest, but she doesn't remember how it got there. Following the doctor's recommendation, Kay and Sam decide to stay at Edna's house for a while to keep an eye on her. Edna is not particularly pleased with the increased attention. While Edna is carving candles, Kay finds her nightgown smeared with red liquid. She anxiously asks her mother where the stain came and what happened to her. Kay is convinced that Edna needs help, but Edna just grumbles unfriendly that she can handle it herself. In the evening, Edna examines and scratches the bruise on her chest, resembling black mold. When Sam brings tea to her room, Edna hides the bruise and smiles sweetly at her granddaughter. It seems that Edna loves Sam more than her daughter, who neglected her for a long time. Edna gives her granddaughter a ring as a gift. Sam is pleased with the gift and the attention from her grandmother. Later, Sam and Kay look through Edna's album of drawings. Among them is an illustration of the house in the forest from Kay's nightmare. It turns out that this house actually existed, and Kay's great-grandfather lived there. Towards the end of his life, he became insane, and no one cared for him. Some windows from that old house are now in Edna's house. Kay asks her daughter for support. She plans to place Edna in a nursing home so that someone can take care of her. Sam is upset, not understanding why Kay can't take care of Edna herself. Mom changes your nappies, then you change hers. Sam believes that they should ask Edna herself if she wants to live in a nursing home. At night, Edna sleepwalks around the house with her hair covering her face and talks to someone invisible. Kay worries about her and tucks her into bed. Edna is convinced that someone is under her bed. Reluctantly, Kay looks there and sees some movement in the semi-darkness. Suddenly, a book falls on her head, and an angered Kay goes to bed. The next day, Kay goes on a tour of the nursing home. The facilities are excellent, but Kay still feels guilty about not being ready to care for her elderly mother independently. Meanwhile, Edna and Sam spend tender moments together. They dance and have heart-to-heart talks. Sam expresses her desire to move in with Edna and take care of her because she believes it would be better than a nursing home. Edna is shocked by the news of the nursing home, and suddenly, a fit of madness comes over her. She sees her ring on Sam's hand and forcefully snatches it, shouting that her granddaughter is a thief. Edna forgets that she herself gifted the ring to Sam. Sam is left with a bruise after this incident and fears that her grandmother might harm her. Someone walks near the bathroom door and ominously creaks it while Sam is bathing. In the evening, when Kay returns, Edna announces that she has cleared a room for Sam and is expecting her to move in. Edna also makes it clear that she despises Kay for wanting to place her in a nursing home. Sam is no longer sure if she wants to move in with her grandmother. At night, she walks around the house and sees black mold everywhere. Then she hears a whistle. Edna stands next to the open pantry and seems to be calling someone. Edna believes that an unknown entity enters her house through the pantry. She thinks that, since her husband's death, the house has expanded and unfamiliar places have appeared. Sam is scared, but at the same time, she appreciates that her grandmother is opening up to her and is no longer behaving aggressively. Closes the pantry door. At night, Sam hears very strange sounds in the house. The washing machine is running, but no one started it. Sam turns it off, but suddenly the machine's lid slams shut, as if closed by an invisible force. Kay has another nightmare about the abandoned shack in the forest. This time, Edna is sitting on the bed. She weakly sways and falls to the floor. The old woman instantly transforms into black mold, spreading throughout the cabin. Frightened, Kay wakes up because someone is calling her. She approaches the bathroom, where Edna's voice is heard. A shadow flickers in the bathroom, but there's no one there. During the day, Edna sits in her room and talks to some invisible being. She complains that Kay and Sam are not real. They are only pretending to be her relatives and actually want to bury her in the ground. Sam enters Edna's room and interrupts this strange monologue. She sees red liquid on Edna's hand and wants to help her. However, Edna recoils from her granddaughter, throws various objects at her, and aggressively demands her to leave. Sam is scared and wants to understand what is going on with her grandmother. Seeking answers, she goes to Edna's neighbor, the father of the boy named Jamie. It turns out that once Jamie came to visit Edna, and they played hide and seek. At some point, Jamie hid in that strange pantry. Edna experienced a memory lapse and forgot about Jamie, locking him in the pantry for a long time. The boy screamed and scratched the door, but the old woman was indifferent to him since then. Jamie refuses to visit Edna. Sam is relieved by this explanation. It seems that there is no supernatural entity in the pantry. It's just that everything got mixed up in Edna's head because Jamie was locked in there and calling for help. Meanwhile, Kay decides not to send her mother to the nursing home, but to take her home. This way, she won't be tormented by guilt. Suddenly, Kay notices Edna going into the woods alone. The woman follows her mother, where she finds Edna tearing pages from the family photo album and eating them. When Kay tries to intervene, Edna bites her and storms off with the album. The pictures she tried to eat depict Kay, and they are covered in black mold. Edna buries the album in the ground and, in a fit of madness, complains to Sam that something wants to harm her. The old woman suffers from inexplicable emotions. Kay doesn't understand what Edna is talking about, but she promises to take care of her mother, and daughter cry and embrace. Despite everything, Sam decides to investigate the mysterious pantry when no one is watching. Behind one of the shelves with items, she sees a long corridor. Piles of boxes and Edna's post-it notes are scattered everywhere, indicating that the old woman has definitely been here. Scared but intrigued, Sam continues down the corridor, which has many doors, and all the walls are covered in black mold. Somewhere nearby, she hears a scraping sound, and Sam decides to quickly turn. She goes back the same way, but realizes that she's lost. The corridor with numerous branches and doors seems never ending, and behind one of the doors is even a crypt. Sam tries to call her mother, but there is no signal, and she starts to panic. She screams and bangs on the walls. This banging is heard in the house, but Kay doesn't pay attention and assumes that Sam has left to run some errands. During dinner, Edna behaves very strangely. She gets up from the table and unsteadily walks away, but suddenly starts uncontrollably urinating. While standing, Kay urgently takes the old woman to the bathroom and begins to clean up after her. To Kay's horror, she sees black mold in Edna's urine. Meanwhile, Edna sits in the bath, combing the black spots on her body with tension. Sam continues, wander through the endless labyrinth inside the house, and finds new notes from Edna. They contain ominous warnings that the walls are closing in and something is walking nearby. Sam cries and doesn't know what to do. The corridor indeed becomes narrower, where Edna locked herself and sees that the old woman is harming her own skin. Finally, Edna opens the door and goes somewhere with a knife in her hand. As if possessed by demons, the water spills from the bath, shorting the electric heater. The entire house loses power. Holding a candle, Kay searches for Edna. The old woman scatters belongings and disappears into the mysterious corridor. Kay tries to find her in the dark corners. Using a flashlight, Kay discovers her mother, who is injuring her own face. Kay, horrified, tries to escape from the terrifying creature within Edna. Sam continues searching for a way out of the labyrinth and decides to break through one of the walls. In the opening, she sees Edna's living room. Freedom is within reach. However, Sam suddenly hears Kay's frightened voice somewhere in the labyrinth. Terrified mother and daughter meet and realize that they need to escape. They continue to break through the wall, while Edna transforms into a dangerous monster and pursues them. She gets too close and clearly intends to harm the frightened women. Kay quickly pushes Sam through the hole in the wall into the living room and then tries to climb out herself. However, Edna becomes incredibly strong, grabbing Kay's legs, preventing her from escaping. Finally, Kay makes it into the living room, but Edna quickly crawls out after her. She attacks her daughter and then her granddaughter. To protect Sam, Kay defends herself from Edna with a piece of rebar. The old woman is frantic and loses strength. Sam wants to escape from the house and calls her mother, but Kay suddenly notices Edna's note with the words, "I'm loved," and feels compassion for the creature that was once her mother. Kay cannot leave her mother alone in such a state because she feels guilty for the horrors that happened to Edna. Kay abruptly closes the door, leaving Sam outside, and goes to Edna, carrying her tenderly into the bedroom. Kay expresses love for the old woman and gently strokes her. The top layer of Edna easily peels off, so Kay removes it. In doing so, she reveals the real Edna, or rather, what is left of her. The old woman looks like a barely alive black mummy, but Kay sees that it's her mother, kisses her, and accepts her as she is. Sam manages to enter the house and witnesses the entire scene. Although horrified, she understands that the black mummy is her grandmother in her true form. Kay lovingly lays Edna on the bed and embraces her. Sam joins them until the old woman peacefully falls asleep. Suddenly, the girl is horrified to notice a black mold bruise on the nape of Kay's neck. Do you think a person can go crazy from loneliness and abandonment? Share your opinion in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.